All right, so today we're talking about integer addition. So remember again, integers are positive and negative whole numbers and also zero as well. So the point of our integers, which was discussed earlier, is so that we can talk about what happens when we have a negative value of our whole number. Or so say someone owes us something, or if maybe we've overspent money in our bank account, and so on and so forth. So in that case, we would have a negative number. And so that's why they had to have these integers created. Now, when it comes to integer addition, meaning adding numbers in our integers, well, how do we do that? Well, I'll start off with a very simple example. 3 plus 3. Yes, these are two integers, and I know adding together integers can be very complicated. No, many of you are probably looking at this and saying, what is he talking about? Those aren't integers. Yes, they are. Because remember, integers are whole numbers, positive and negative versions of them. So in this instance, then 3 plus 3 would be an addition of integers, right? Well, you already know how to do these. This is just whole number addition. So with whole number addition, we add these two numbers together quite simply, and you had your addition facts that you may have remembered, or you just knew that we had 3 and add 3 more, you got 6. All right, so that's pretty plain and simple. Well, okay, Mr. Stevens, I get that, but what happens when you have those negatives in there? Because that always freaks me out. Okay, well, let's see. Let's say we have a negative 3 and negative 5. Well, if I owe someone $3 and then I owed them 5 more, how much would you owe them in total? Or if the temperature was negative 3 degrees and it went down 5 more degrees, where would it be at now? All of these are ways to think about this in a real life scenario. But if we want to think of it with just our whole numbers, this would just be saying, well, we have 3 negatives plus 5 more negatives. How many negatives is that in total? Oh, well, that's quite simple. Because we know 3 and 5, 3 plus 5 makes 8. So negative 3 plus negative 5 must also be 8. All right, so we have negative 8 for that one. Okay. So, okay, machines think I can handle that. I can handle when they're both positive and I can handle when they're both negative. But what about when it's all mixed up? That's the part that really gets me. All right, let's talk about that. Well, let's say we have negative 3 plus 5. Negative 3 plus 5. Okay, well, negative 3 means we have 3 negatives, and positive 5 means we have 5 positives. Just to give you a visual of this, I'm going to actually draw an example up here. So I'll do red for negative. And I'll do black for positive. So we have 5 blacks and 3 reds. 3 negatives plus 5 positives. Well, each of these negatives and positives will counteract each other, right? They'll equate to 0, which that makes perfect sense because the negative is saying that, hey, you owe me something. The positive is saying, hey, here you go. Okay, so if we look at it in that sense, then these first 3 instances would just be 0. And then what are we left with? Well, in this case, we're left with positive 2. Okay, and that is what our answer would be. Our answer would be positive 2. Because if I'm at negative 3 degrees Celsius and I increase by 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would go past 0 once I hit 3 of them. Then I would have 2 extra to go up. So there we are. So a lot of times people will teach this in a different way. They will teach this as, well, instead of writing it that way, and this time I will write in red just to differentiate between the first way we saw it and the second way we're going to look at it. So negative 3 plus 5, instead of writing that way, we're going to write 5 plus negative 3 because those are the same. Because whenever you're adding two numbers together, you can switch their order in which you put them down. You're still going to be adding 7 plus 2 is the same as 2 plus 7. Negative 3 plus 5 is the same as 5 plus negative 3. Okay, and they do this because if they see a plus and a negative sign together, sometimes they say a plus or a minus together. Either way, it's fine because as we talked about before, the negative sign there or minus sign is the same. It's just a negative. But what they do is they say if I have two of these together, a plus sign and a minus sign, what I can do then instead is change this to a 5 uh, minus. So change this sign here to minus and then change that opposite sign there. So the opposite of a negative will be a positive. So they're saying that 5 plus -3, we can take that positive sign and plus sign, change to a minus, because the negative, remember, means opposite, and then change the opposite sign here. So this was negative, so now it became positive. So 5 plus -3 would be the same as 5 minus 3. Well, what's 5 minus 3? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's 2. And then we're done. So that is another way to do this. Now I will show you one more example, because a lot of times people say, well, it's easy when the negative is on the larger of the two numbers because that's just subtraction. I can do that. I know how to subtract two numbers. That's fine. But what about if it's the other way? And that will be our last example for this. All right. So let's say instead we had 3 plus -5. Okay, 3 plus -5 this time. What do we do in this instance? Well, if we map it out again, it'll be quite easy to see. But I want you to get to the point where you don't have to draw dots or blocks or whatever. And sometimes these numbers will get fairly large, so you don't want to have to do that. So how can I visualize this in my mind? Well, I have 5 negatives and I have 3 positives. So I'm going to take my -5 and I'm going to increase by 3. Or I'm going to take my +3 and increase by -5. Either way, if you think of it in that instance, if someone owes you 5 and you give them 3 back, how much do you owe them still? Or do you owe them at all? Or have you given them too much? Well, if you owe someone $5 and you give them 3, obviously you would still owe them, right? Because you haven't paid that full 5. What would you owe them? Well, you guys would all say together, you would owe $2 more. And so that's why that answer is -2. Well, can we use that technique we just talked about in this instance? Yes, we can. We could rewrite this as 3 minus 5. And this would be integer subtraction. And you're going to look at that in the next section. All right. But just to kind of give you a quick hint, it's 3 minus 5. That would be whatever the opposite is of 5 minus 3, right? So whatever the opposite is, remember negative means opposite of 5 minus 3. In other words, that would again be -2. And that is integer addition. I will see you again soon.